Well, hello ladies, welcome to another vlog. Right now we are in Tuscany and I'll tell you more about that next week. But this week I wanted to share you some do's and don'ts when starting a new job, a corporate job. So if you don't know, I was a consultant until a few months ago, and then I changed companies and now I work in a software as a service as a content manager and marketing specialist. Right now it's been almost 2 months, or actually 2 exact months since I started the new job, and I thought it would be an amazing time to share these do's and don'ts when starting a new job, because I just did, and I think I can share with you my experience, not only sharing my experience in this job but also in my past works. So yeah, that's what we're going to do today. I would really like to do this video without the sunglasses on, yeah, but it's like 3 p.m. in Italy, so the sun is it's very powerful right now and I cannot really open my eyes, so I'm very sorry, I have to put my sunglasses down. I wrote down my do's and don'ts so I can share them with you. Let's start. We'll start with the don'ts and then we'll move forward to the do's, alright? And my first don't is do not criticize everything that has been done so far in the company. Why? Because people have been working there before, and I think that mostly people try to do the best they can with the resources they have. So if you start to criticize everything, you can come across as a super arrogant person, and you're not going to be very liked if you're going to do that. Anyway, I'm not saying that you cannot change anything, especially if you are getting into a role that you have to be strategic and that you have to make decisions, like mine, which I'm a content manager and marketing specialist, so I have to be very strategic and I have to work with people and I have to make the strategy of what we're going to do content-wise. So that implies changing some things. But if you do that in the first week, like imagine the second day saying, oh, that's shit, everything that you've been doing, or all of these, or this strategy, or the content that you've been sharing, or whatever, that's not good, that's not working, that is shit. Like, unless you're being hired as a as a super director or something like that, I think that will not come across well inside the team. If the first one was do not criticize, the second one is do not try to change everything in your first weeks. Imagine that you're working, alright, and that someone that you don't know comes to your work, joins your department, joins your team, and suddenly wants to change everything and the way that you do it. Imagine that you're using one tool that you are used to go work with Google Workspace, and suddenly that person comes and say, I want Microsoft. Why do you want Microsoft Teams if we are used to using Google and it is working for us? Is it the new person that doesn't want to adjust themselves, or is it us that we have been doing everything wrong? So if you come to me and tell me without arguments, like we have to change everything, and you still do not have enough depth, oh Dio mio, I don't know how to pronounce this word, depth, like deep, but the name, profundidad, okay, you got me. And you do not have enough depth, like 2 weeks, it's very difficult that you know exactly how everything works and the reason why it has been done this way so far. So if you start changing and trying to change everything, what I've seen in my experiences, like a few years ago in another place, and what I'm seeing now in my new job, is that people do not react well to forced changes, alright? So first weeks, do not criticize and do not say that they have to change the way they work. You like Emily in Paris? You will know that when she goes to the new office, and she brings the American commandments, the things that they have to do and they do not have to do in the office. Like everyone starts hating her in the office, and Luke at some point comes and says like, look, it makes us feel that we have to work harder or that we do is not good. So yeah, I can confirm that happens in real life. I've seen it in a couple of places, and I see it in my company right now, that if you go there and try to change everything and start criticizing everything, you're not going to be liked. And in the first weeks you really have to set up like the path you're going to have in that company. So let's avoid criticizing and changing everything. Third, don't. Some people will not share this one, but it is my opinion and I'm going to share it. Third don't would be, do not work long extra hours within the first couple of weeks, or first month. Why? There are two things that can happen. If you have just been hired and you have like kind of a management role, mid management or anything, or even if you're not manager, if you're like a entry level or whatever, I think that sometimes it can show that you are very committed to the company, but at the same time it can be interpreted as you not having good time management skills. So I'm not saying do not work like an extra hour here and there if needed. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that do not reply messages at 10 p.m. or do not work on the weekends if there's no need. That can be seen as poor time management skills. That's my opinion. And on the other side, you are showing that you have no boundaries. So if you make it a usual thing to be working on weekends, I'm not saying that is what happened in my current job. I'm not saying that. It's something that I've seen though. You are okay with working extra hours and you're doing every time, like people will take for granted that you're willing to do that and that you're going to do that. So they will get you a lot of work to do. So I think that in the beginning you should show some limits, but with yourself, like I'm not going to work like 2 hours a day extra for free. No, be mindful with your hours. Try to organize your calendar so you have enough time to focus and to work on your tasks, but I wouldn't recommend doing a lot of extra hours in the first months. You'll have time to do that once you start scaling up the stairs inside the company. So yeah, I wouldn't do that in the first month. And let's move on to the fourth one already. The fourth don't. You do not have to fear feedback. Feedback in the workplace can be gold. Why? Because you can use your one-to-ones with your manager or with your superior, with your director or with whoever that is on top of you in your company to ask for feedback, and there you can extract information as, are you happy with what I've done so far? Is there anything that you would have liked me to have done differently? Is there anything specific that you think that I'm missing? Is there anything that I need to change? So this first month, second month, I would, in these one-to-ones with your manager, if you don't have them, look for them. Like you can send a meeting on Google Calendar and probably they're not going to say no if it's a one-to-one or a feedback session. So if they're not already giving the feedback to you, look for it. You can also ask, hey, now it's been like a month. Are these the expectations that you have? What needs do you want me to cover? Like, what are the expectations for my role in like a 60 days time, 90 days time, and 6 months time? So you know exactly what you need to do. Like you can ask your boss, like, what would warrant me a raise in salary, for example? and you know exactly the roadmap that you have to follow to get to your goal. So yeah, do not fear feedback, because imagine putting a lot of energy and effort in your work, but being misled and going to a different direction. So you are leaving your soul there, but it's not what your boss needed from you. So you're not going to get that bright future that you want in that company, because you're not doing what they needed you to do. So check up with them, like, am I in the right path? Is there anything that I can do for this, for that, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, do not fear feedback. And now the last one. This one is a controversial one as well. And this one is one that I see young people doing, like people that just started working in companies. They tend to do more this rather than senior people. Why? Because senior people have already learned. But yeah, so what happens is that when you start working, you're super young, it's your first job, like your first corporate job, you want to talk to everyone and you are super excited and you are willing to show and demonstrate how good you are to everyone. What happens there is that sometimes you can start sharing information with people that you shouldn't share. It's not that you have to keep secrets. Depending on the company, there are departments or different projects or wherever. And if I start saying that, for example, I'm in the marketing team, if we are thinking about a new idea, changing a tool or doing a new product or whatever in some months, and I start spreading that in the company and talking about it without being concerned of who's hearing this, what can happen is that people will get distracted. Of course, it is like fresh gossip. Everyone is going to join the conversation, and you can actually feel like, oh, I'm popular, I'm talking to everyone. Yeah, but everyone is getting disfocused from their jobs. Maybe you can be seen as a person that distracts other people. We do not want that. So you should be very mindful when you talk about things and where and to whom. Because if you're in the terrace or if you're in the kitchen of your office and you start sharing, for example, your salary, which is not like a future of the company, but your salary, like out loud, and you just made it to the company and another person hears you, and maybe they are doing half of your salary because they are in another department, and well, that it is what it is. Like maybe they are doing less, and they hear you like talking about this, like, oh, we didn't make it to our goal this month, or the opposite, oh, we made it to our monthly goal, so we're going to get our extra bonus this month, whatever. Oh, there's people who does not get that, so it can cause resentment. So before sharing sensible information such as salary or future actions of the company, be very mindful where you are, who you're talking to, and who's listening, all right? Because it can create tension, or it can distract other people, or it can also create a lot of frustration. So if you want to share these kind of things, grab your favorite teammate, go for a coffee, and you talk to them there. And yeah, and I think that would add, do not gossip a lot. Like gossip, I know it's super fun, I love it, I have to say I love gossip, but not in the office. It's not the best, because if someone is saying something bad about another person, you're going to see the other person and you're not going to like that person. So I would avoid also any kind of gossip in the company, or be super discreet about it. Yeah, and very mindful who you share it with. Yeah, that's for sure. So until now, we've wrapped up all the don'ts that I would recommend. They were: do not criticize what they've done because you don't know why they have done it that way. Do not try to change everything because you're going to come across as super arrogant and they will not like you. They will be like super defensive. Do not work long extra hours because you're going to show that you have no boundaries and that you have poor time management skills. Also, do not fear feedback. Actually look for it and ask for it constantly, like not every day but every month. And last one, be careful and do not share information with people you shouldn't be sharing it. So yeah, those are the don'ts, and now we're going to move on to the do's, a thing that we do have to do. The first thing I do recommend that you do when you start a new job in the first few weeks is be silent. Shut up your mouth. Do not start spreading ideas right away. No, my recommendation is shut up. Take your time to know the company, to know the product that the product or service that the company sells. Take your time to know your teammates and how things work inside the company and what has been done so far. Like, try to get a little bit of the track record of the company and of the department. So yeah, first weeks, let's do that. Instead of criticizing and trying to change everything. You need to know everything deeply so you can start to share your ideas and strategies and have solid arguments to back them up. So yeah, shut up. Okay? That's my first do. Second do is try to know and have some alone time with everyone in your department and try to understand their personalities and the way they communicate and how they work, and also what are they tasked and a regular day in the office, all of that. The more you know about them, the more you're going to be able to adjust your communication to them, because some people, they need like strict orders, like, oh, please just tell me what I need to do, A, B, and C. So you go there and say, hey, Juan, you need to do A, B, and C. But maybe there's another one that knows exactly what she's doing, and if you go and say, oh, you need to do this, they're going to say, I know that needs to be done. You don't have to come and tell me what I need to do because I already know and I've been working here longer than you have. So shut up. So yeah, we do not want that. So try to understand how everyone works so you can adjust to them. So first weeks, as I said, be silent and then know the company and everything. Second, know every person in your department. Try to understand how your boss works. So if you know that your boss is a person that is super busy and has a lot of things going on, maybe you know that the easiest way to communicate with him or her is sending a status email or asking for a quick meeting so you can share all the updates that have been done or whatever. But before, you have to know them, so you find the best way to communicate with your team, because if you have poor communication, no one is going to understand what you are saying or the ideas that you are sharing, and maybe they are good ideas, but you need to know how to communicate. And do not limit yourself just knowing the people in your team. Spread your wings, honey, and talk to other people in the office. Try to know at least a couple of persons in every team, so you know the challenges of the office, of the company, like what is the biggest challenge of the IT team. So this way you can come with more ideas, but at the same time socially you're going to be like mainly accepted in this new group, which is your colleagues and your office. So yeah, get to know them, spend some time knowing them and how their days look like. That sentence was actually difficult. From there, you can start building solid relationships, and everything will come easier afterwards. If you have nice relationships with people, it's more likely that your ideas are going to be accepted, or at least you're going to be listened to, or you can ask for help whenever you need it, or you can also offer help. The third two is actually one that I like a lot, and is, as we said before in the don'ts, we are not going to criticize, we're not going to try to change everything. And as I said in the first two, we're going to keep silent. Okay. During this first week, what we are going to do is all the ideas that you get, instead of spreading them right away to everyone and maybe at the wrong time, just write them down. And as you're going to be listening to everyone and trying to get to know everyone in the company and what they have been doing, you're going to see if they actually had thought about it before or not. So you're not saying or suggesting something that they already tested in the past. You're going to build your list, and when the proper time comes, you're going to share your ideas. All right? So maybe 3 weeks in, you can share in a team meeting, hey, I thought about this. I haven't seen anything of this in the company. Have you tried this before? Otherwise, I have done it in these other projects and it has worked very nicely. Or give other data, like inform yourself and have like solid arguments to defend that idea and to argue why it's a good idea, and then you share it. But if you share it just at the first moment it comes to your mind, you're not going to have solid arguments to back it up. And maybe they had tried to do it in the past, but there was no budget. Instead of sharing everything, your ideas, just write them down. Try to ask if they had thought of it before, and then you share them in the proper time, which probably would be a meeting with your manager or with your whole team. All right? So, yeah, let's track down all of your amazing ideas. Talking about tracking down your ideas, we're going to move on to the next do, which is also related to tracking down things. I would like you to start a log, which can be a note on your phone or in your Notion or in a spreadsheet, whatever. And we're going to write every week what our achievements are. Okay, the quick wins that we did, the ideas that we suggested and that were approved. And in the future, we're going to complete them with the results that we gain out of those actions that we suggested. This is going to help us in 2 ways. First way, probably you're going to avoid feeling the impostor syndrome, because when you start a new job, especially when you're moving up the career ladder inside a company, is that you do not feel that you deserve that and you have a lot of insecurities, which is normal. But keeping like a journal, a log of everything that you're achieving, I think it's something that can help you feel confident about your job and very confident about what you bring to the table and know that you deserve to be in that place. So yeah, that's the first thing, just for your mental health. Do that. Second thing is that in a few months, if you would like to ask for a raise or change departments or for a new role or whatever, you cannot ask for these things out of the blue, and you cannot either expect people in your company, like expect the HR person in your company coming to you and saying, "Oh, we think you deserve a raise." No, that's not going to happen. Like maybe they are going to do like small corrections every year because inflation, but probably they are not going to come to you offering you more money because they felt like to. No, you have to look for it. And you cannot go there and say, I want more money, or I want a new role, I want to be a manager now, I want to be the head of blah blah blah. Now, no, this is not how this works in companies. So the best you can do is go with your log and share all of the achievements that you have achieved while you were in the company in the last 6 months. So you have a lot of arguments to back up your solicitation. This is an amazing recommendation. If you are not doing this already, I recommend you do it. Alright then, those were my do's and don'ts, actually my don'ts and do's in the company in the first months. I hope you actually learned something from it. If there are more do's and don'ts that you want to share with me, just write them in the comment section. I would love to hear from you and learn from you as well. If you want to support me a little bit, I would appreciate it a lot if you hit the subscribe button and like the video or interact with it in any way. And I'll see you next week, in which I'll share with you why I am in Tuscany. I am not in vacations, but I am working here. And I will also be sharing how it is doing smart working in Tuscany. Alright, so that was all for this week. I'm taking off the glasses so I can say proper goodbye to you. I'll see you next week, and it's been a pleasure chatting with you again.